Yeah, come in. Oh, Mr. Redmond. Hey, what are you doing here?
Hey,
If I didn't know.
Did you get a lunch break around here, buddy? It's something. No. Sounds more and more like a newspaper job to me every day. Did you find anything out?
You want the good news or the bad news?
Good news? Buddy, from what I've dug out lately, there isn't any good news.
Dave Phillips is out on bail.
I know that already.
Oh, no. Scooped again.
So, is that it? I mean, I thought you were going to tell me that you were going to finger someone. I mean, surely somebody killed Kate other than Dave Phillips.
Somebody else did it. I sure haven't been able to find him. Or her.
So you stopped by to talk about Peter. I'm sure he'll be flattered.
Oh, please don't tell him.
Oh, it's that kind of talk, is it? Well, come on, sit down. Would you like some coffee?
No, thank you. Mrs. Davidson, do you think that... No, wait a minute. Believe it or not, I did practice this on the way over here. Anyway, Mrs. Davidson, I want you to know that I care about Peter an awful lot. I really do.
Vicky, I'm sure that you care about Peter. And I know that he cares a great deal about you. I'm just not at all sure that caring is grounds for marriage.
Then you don't think Peter and I should get married?
Well, I'll admit it doesn't sit very well with me.
Why?
Well, for one thing, you're older. There's the years. Peter has a lot of growing up to do. And I'm not at all sure that he's ready for this type of responsibility.
You better not say that to him. He'll bite your head off.
I know. He already has. It's like my father always used to say. The young are pretty easy to spot. It's usually those who think they're not.
Exactly. And Peter's obsessed with the idea of us getting married. Immediately.
Don't you want to? Well, you took his ring.
I'm not sure. I love the ring. It's beautiful, but I'm just not sure that Peter wanted to give it to me. Now, I mean.
You've been talking about what Peter wants. But what does Vicky want?
You tell me.
Vicky, look. I don't mind giving coaching advice from the sidelines, but I'm not going to play the game for you. Where do you stand with my son? Do you love him?
Peter means a lot to me. Well, he's done so many wonderful things, and I feel badly because I don't deserve any of it. Mrs. Davidson, I really care an awful lot about Peter, but it's
Care. There's that word again.
Well, I do care for him.
Vicky, I don't doubt that. I don't doubt that you appreciate everything Peter's done for you. But caring and loving are two very different emotions. And you have to decide which emotion you feel towards Peter.
Come on, man. You guys are supposed to be the professionals. I mean, there have to be other suspects now, John.
Okay, Gene, look. I talked to Amber, Dave Phillips' daughter. There's no love lost between them. Anyway, I talked to her. She claims that she was out visiting a friend that night.
Yeah.
I talked to the friend. The story checks out. Then there's Gil. Seems Loverboy's got problems with the ladies, especially Amber. He's driving all over Kingsley that night trying to find her.
Oh, man. You call that a solid alibi?
No, not really. But he admitted to talking to Kate Carruthers that night, and he also admitted lying to me in the first place.
See? And what about Carruthers?
He was at the Golden Inn.
Golden Inn. Where's that?
Oh, it was some wimpy little motor lodge up in Perryville. He was campaigning for the farmers some ungodly hour like 4 in the morning or something.
Something's wrong. We're missing something, John. There is no way that I can believe that Dave Phillips killed Kate.
Maybe. Chip? Anyway, here's an interesting piece of information here.
What you got?
That's the urinalysis report we got on Dave when we brought him in.
Yeah. So what is this? I mean, what does this say? This is all Swahili to me.
It says there's no evidence of any alcohol.
Then that means he wasn't drunk.
But that doesn't necessarily work for him. It could work against him.
Man, I don't understand. What are you saying?
Because he still can't remember anything that happened the night of the murder. At least if he was drunk, he'd have an excuse. This way, he's got nothing.
So are you saying that he's lying about... When he said he can't remember, you're saying that he's lying?
Gene, look at the evidence. Number one, we find him passed out in his car right outside of Amber's apartment complex the morning after the murder.
Yes.
The murder weapon, number two, is 10 feet from his car. And number three, as far as I can tell, the man is emotionally ripped apart because his wife walked out and married Lee Carruthers. Now, if that doesn't say prime suspect, I'd be out busting hookers on 8th Avenue again.
Dave Phillips is not capable of doing something like that. John, you know Dave.
Yeah. Did you see this? He's got a record a mile long. 5 counts of reckless operation of a vehicle, 3 counts of driving while intoxicated. And down here, 5 years ago, he busted some guy in the jaw and almost broke it. Especially when you consider that he wanted so badly to get back with his wife. I would say that this man is not incapable of violence.
The record only indicates what he did when he was drunk, not when he was sober. And he's been sober for how long? Almost 2 years?
Maybe. But it still proves that he's capable of violence. Here. You want a cookie?
No, thank you.
Oh, I don't understand this. I just got these a month ago.
John, look, what are we gonna do now?
What do you mean, we?
Well, you don't expect me to sit idle around here while you compile all of this evidence, do you?
You want to know something, buddy? If you can do better, more power to you. And I'm behind you all the way.
You did great, just great.
Thanks. It wasn't easy. I'll have a soda.
Okay. You really got your point across. And it's obvious that the sympathy factor is still working for us, too. Oh, I really like the way you got that bit in about the mercy for the killer. How did you put it? I know as time passes, I'll eventually be able to forgive the man who killed my wife, but I don't believe that I'll ever be able to forget what happened or the pain which it caused. Oh, boy.
You know, Kate and I had some good times when we were together. I really don't think I would have minded being married to her at all.
Well, tell that to Andrea Summers. Speaking of whom, has anyone heard anything about her yet?
No.
Well, maybe Brubaker will eventually run her down.
Don't you still think that Dave Phillips is guilty?
Well, of course I do. But why not have as many suspects involved as we can? I mean, the more people suspected, the more you stand out as a grieving widower, which is exactly what we want to have running for us right on up to Election Day.
Yeah, I suppose you're right.
You know I'm right.
Where's Vicky, Vicky Lang? I don't think I saw her when we came in.
Guess she's still at lunch.
Well, when she gets back, tell her I've got a few letters that I want to dictate to her.
You don't need Vicky for that. I can call down one of the girls from upstairs.
Well, I prefer to wait for Vicky until she gets back. She does a good job.
She does she?
Well, yes, she does. I haven't been able to find anybody like her since Andrea left.
Okay, I'll do it right now. Hi, sweetheart. You've got to come back in 2 weeks now, okay? Well, Ione, you did get back in one piece, looks like. How is our tiger friend Nancy doing?
Well, she may be a tiger, but that Dan Myers is a fox. I tell you, I don't trust that man. Not as far as I can throw him. Do you know he's put that Nancy up in a room for at least $100 a night? And I'm sure he put her there so he can keep the pressure on for her to carry out that lawsuit against Dr. Martin in the hospital.
Well, there just ain't nothing like being around wealth to get somebody thinking about having wealth.
Exactly, but I tell you, it's not the room that bothers me. It's those lies he's feeding her.
Like what?
Like she'll never get her voice back completely, like it's gonna leave great big scars. Well, you know that's not true. I tell you, the more I think about it, the more that Dan Myers is no fox. He's an outright skunk. And you know something, Nancy, I've seen a change in Nancy for the worse since he's been coming around. And I tell you, it stinks to high heavens.
Hadn't you been able to talk any sense into her?
No, not with him there.
Well, we'll just have to get rid of him then. Figuratively
Oh,
speaking,
well, I intend to, I
ma'am.
tell you. I've seen a change in that girl for the better when she was under my roof.
Hey, you. Would you mind doing a little talking over here?
Mr. Phelps, I'm so sorry. What can we do for you?
It's these pills you gave me. Haven't done a darn thing. I still feel lousy.
Pills. Oh, I was supposed to check Dave's medication.
Well, I tell you, let's see what Dr. Phillips prescribed you. Have you been taking them like he told you to?
Yes, ma'am. I done just like you said to. 1 tablet, 4 times a day.
Good Lord. Lucille, would you come over here and take a look at this, please? It seems as though he's got Dave's medication.
What?
It's right here on the label, honey. Look at that. Dave Phillips, 1 tablet every 4 hours. Chlorpheniramine, 5 milligrams.
See that?
I don't believe it. Do you know what this means?
Look, ladies, you got a sick man over here.
Oh, well, now, would you come over here and sit down? We'll take care of all this in just a few moments. Just sit down there, okay?
You don't suppose that Dave got his by mistake, do you?
Well, he took somebody's medication. I watched him take it. I even gave him the water.
You know what? This could explain why he was acting so strange the night Kate was killed. I mean, if he had a reaction to the medication.
You know something? That's why he couldn't remember anything.
Action. It's time for action. I gotta get this stuff over to that detective's office right now.
Whoa! Hold on there, Lucille.
Terry, you are not gonna believe what we have just discovered.
What? What's all the excitement?
Terry, it seems somehow that Mr. Phelps got Dave's medication by mistake.
And we think Dave took his by mistake.
Well, that's why I came by here this afternoon. Dave thought the same thing.
Well, here's the pills that Mr. Phelps brought in. It's got Dave's name on them. Did you see the pills that Dave took?
No. I bet they were switched.
Hey, ladies. While you all are having a social, I'm dying over here.
Okay.
Do you think I could just get my pills and leave?
Yeah, sure. Sit down. I'll go get you a new prescription. I'll be right back.
Ione, I've got to call Harold Webster.
Oh, he'll be real interested in this.
I'll say, this could just be the break that Dave's been waiting for.
Oh, yes. Do you see him yet, Terry?
No, I don't, Ione.
Oh, well, don't worry. When Mr. Webster comes, he'll get to the bottom of all this.
Thing I don't understand is how it could have possibly happened. Russ came in here with both prescriptions from the pharmacy, and I know full well I set both of them right up here on this counter.
Now, we know you got a foolproof
And
system,
Mr.
but...
Phelps was sitting over there, grumping around as usual, because he had to wait for his medication.
Listen, don't be upset. Just thank God that we discovered it.
Yeah. What do you suppose this is going to mean to Dave's case?
I don't know. It shouldn't hurt one bit. Getting him out of jail on bond didn't hurt either.
Isn't that great? I wonder who the mystery man was that came up with the money.
Here he is. Harold, can you believe this?
Well, it might be easier for me to believe if I understood it better.
Well, somehow Dave's medication got mixed up with a Mr. Dale Phelps.
Yeah, Lord knows how it happened.
Well, anyway, Dave ended up taking the wrong prescription. It's very possible he could have had a reaction to Mr. Phelps' medication. So that could very possibly explain why he was so incoherent the night Kate was killed. Here's the bottle. Mr. Phelps just brought this in a little while ago. See, there's Dave's name on it.
This is interesting.
Well, what do you think it means? Can this get Dave off the hook?
I don't know. No, I don't know. But this is definitely something that Brubaker should be told about. I'd like to take this over to him right now.
Well, can I go? I mean, is it all right if I come
sure.
along?
Absolutely. Come on, let's go.
you have any idea, Miss Lang, just how long a lunch hour is?
I'm sorry, Mr. Knight. I needed to go talk to somebody. It was kind of important.
Well, I think you'd better remember that getting Mr. Carruthers elected is far more important right now than meeting with some of your friends. Is that clear?
Yes, sir. I'm sorry. It won't happen again.
Oh, Vicky, I thought I heard your voice. I need to dictate a couple of letters right away.
Yes, Mr. Carruthers.
I have to do some writing, too. Your speech for the Transit Labor Union. I'll be upstairs if you need me.
Remember, Sebastian, those guys lost a lot of members during the recession, so make sure that they see that my jobs program will build that roster back up.
Don't worry. This is one union we can't afford to lose.
Well, Vicky, how was lunch?
Oh, fine. Thank you.
Great. You know, I know a great little Chinese restaurant just a couple of blocks away. Have to take you for lunch sometime.
You don't have to do that, Mr. Carruthers.
Nonsense, I want to. A little policy of mine. I always take the new employees to lunch, especially the pretty ones. Well, let's see. Where are we now? Oh, yes, the letter. It is to Peter Gunderson, and you can get his address in the file. Dear Mr. Gunderson, thank you for the opportunity to tour your Kingsley plant. I take that back. Lunch wouldn't be appropriate.
Oh, I'm sorry. What did you say? Lunch would not be...
Appropriate for you and me. How about dinner?
I'm sorry, Mr. Carruthers. I don't follow you.
I'm sorry, too. This isn't in the letter. I was talking about you and me. I'd like to have you over for dinner.
Oh, that's really very nice of you, but...
How about tonight?
Look, I appreciate everything you're doing for me. I mean, getting me out of prison and all.
Hey, that's right. We haven't even celebrated that yet. You know something? We could make our little get-together a real celebration.
I'm awfully glad to be out of there, and I don't want to go back, but...
Well, then it's all settled. I was going to dine alone tonight, but having you over would be a real pleasure.
Mr. Carruthers...
Just call me Lee.
This is really a very nice gesture.
And then you'll come.
Well, I'd like to, but...
But what? You know, it isn't every day that I'm this appreciative.
I'm sure. However, I really don't
No
think...
buts now.
Mr. Carruthers...
Lee?
How can you do this? Doesn't it bother you that your wife just died?
You see, Sergeant Brubaker, the drugs were switched. Dave got Dale Phelps' medication and vice versa. Now, we don't know exactly how this happened, but obviously both men have the same initials. Maybe somebody at the clinic picked it up, or maybe even Dave himself picked it up and misread the names.
Dale Phelps, huh? Dave Phillips. What was in the other bottle?
It's called sulfisoxazole. It's used to treat urinary tract infections. Now, we don't know how many pills Dave took that night, but regardless, it could have caused him to black out.
Yeah, and before that, it could have made him appear to be drunk. Now, from what Terry tells me, if somebody took too much of that drug, well, it could have some very strange side effects.
Well, it certainly explains why there was no alcohol in the urinalysis.
Well, of course you weren't going to find any alcohol. Dave hasn't had a drink in over 2 years.
This is all a very interesting twist here. I'm sorry, I don't know if it's going to help Dave. It may put another nail in his coffin.
What do you mean?
Well, it's just that he was under the influence of a drug. It certainly explains his inability to remember, but at the same time, it could also explain why he acted abnormally, like he used to when he was intoxicated. Violent.
Well, what's that supposed to mean?
It just means that in a drug state, Dave Phillips might have done what he never would have done in a normal state. Kill his wife.
I'm really sorry, Mr. Carruthers. I didn't mean to say that. It just slipped out.
No, I understand. You must think that I'm one of the most insensitive men you've ever met, talking like I am in light of the tragedy that's in my life. But if you just give me the benefit of the doubt, you'll realize that it's because of my loss that I need your company, so...
Very well, Gene.
I'm lonely, Vicky, and I...
But, you know...
I'll talk about that
Lee
later.
Carruthers.
What do you want, Sebastian?
Well, Redlin wants a statement concerning the funeral.
I tried to talk to you there, but it's...
I told him about your condition and held him away, but,
Yeah, well, the press has all the compassion of a vampire, doesn't it?
I'm sorry, Mr. Carruthers, but you know I was covering your campaign from the beginning. Well, my readers simply want to know what you're going through.
Yes, well, Mr. Redland, what I am going through is what any grieved husband goes through at the loss of a wife. I am lonely. I can barely work. If I could express my feelings in just one sentence, it would be that I wish that I could have taken that bullet instead of my Kate.
So undoubtedly, your campaign plans will be changing.
Oh, undoubtedly, but I haven't had time to think about it. All I want to do now is go home and maybe have a bite of dinner and just spend a quiet evening trying not to think about this tragedy.
Well, thanks, Mr. Crothers, and I'm sorry about all the difficult times that you've been going through, but still, thanks for letting me see you.
Well, I apologize, too, for biting your head off, but you were just doing your job.
Yeah, well, no problem. I think I probably would have done the same thing under the circumstances. See you later.
Boy, am I glad you came in when you did.
Why is that?
Never mind. Let's just say it's a lot easier to breathe out here.
Oh, well. Well, I guess I better get back to the office and make a story out of this. Oh, by the way, we're going to have a little celebration tonight, and we wanted to invite you and Peter over.
Oh, what's the occasion?
Well, tonight we're going to go out under a full moon and lift my little daughter to the sky and give her a name.
Oh, let me guess. You're gonna name her Kizzy.
Why would you think that?
Just a wild guess.
Well, actually, I don't think Mom's going to go for the moon routine, but come anyway, because we should have a lot of goodies and cookies, good stuff there. By the end of the evening, my little girl's going to have a name. See you over there. Hope you can make it.
Thanks, Gene.
Bye.